Hi there, intrepid viewers, trendsetters everywhere. Thanks for cruising by. Thanks for tuning in. We've got some ground to cover because American tomorrow, the 7th, the judge is ordering the Yeti and his legal team to show cause. We'll get to that. It's a bit exciting. But it's only one step in the long road. Okay, we can't get too ahead of ourselves here. But in the meantime, quite a few Ohio viewers, bless you, have requested a read on the special election in Ohio on the 8th of the 8th. And as we know, that's the lion's gate or the lion's mouth, all those Leo things, right? Special election. And why is that? It's because there is another election in November about the right to guarantee abortion for Ohio citizens. And so they've got to cut that off at the pass, don't they? So this vote on the 8th of the 8th is about raising the normal level, which is a simple majority, 51%. They want to raise it to 60% to make it harder for this pro-abortion bill to pass. I mean, they'll stop at nothing, these hypocrites. You know, these are the people who pay for their own mistresses' terminations at the drop of a hat. Who said that? Hush those lips. You know what I mean, the hypocrisy. Okay, so let's go to Ohio and have a look. What is the likely outcome of this 8th of the 8th to change the law as it's always been? A majority passes. Let's have a look. Come on down. Oh, my cards. It's not reversed. My cards were just upside down. Okay, there is a bit of confusion, a bit of this and that. Oh, what tower? I'll have to pull some more cards with that. Okay. 2 sevens. 7 of cups. It's not clear, I think, what the outcome will be at this stage. And maybe it's some people who aren't entirely clear how they're going to vote, or even if they're going to vote. Because we need to remind ourselves American democracy rests on this idea that it's only who bothers to turn up. Don't start me on that. Okay, so there's a lot of confusion around this issue, and I'm sure the confusion will be because the conservative side of politics in this always would go on an ad campaign with babies with beating hearts virtually in a jumpsuit and saying, you're killing babies and all that crap that had nothing to do with women's reproductive health. Okay, I digress already. It's only the first card. Okay, so there is some confusion about why this is and what's going on. Not surprising on one level. I'm sure they're going hard to try and make it as confusing as possible. But people are taking it seriously and they're evaluating. This is the card of evaluation here. What does this mean? Because some people, in fact, probably a lot of people, are not comfortable with the idea of terminations and so forth, but they do understand that sometimes they're necessary, and that's the difference, critical difference. So people are evaluating their position. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. To me, being the card of sitting pretty in one sense, why is it here in relation to such a big question? I think it's suggesting a bit here that people will revert to their comfort zones over this issue. But this is not the actual vote on abortion or not. It's about changing the Constitution. You do have state constitutions, don't you? It's changing the rules of the game in Ohio. Then I got the Tower. Now, for those learning tarot, the Tower is not always a bad thing. Sometimes towers have to happen in order to rebuild stronger than the original tower. So I'm going to pull a couple of extra cards here because is this a catastrophic tower or is this a necessary tower? Ooh. Let's have a little look-see. Okay. Will we please clarify the tower here? Oh, I'm not mad about this, I have to say. Okay, so we've got the cards of defense. I think this is people defending, at least at this stage, defending the right to keep the legislation the same way in the sense of simple majority. This upsets some. And we've got the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups in traditional tarot is a beautiful card, bringing a message of love and emotion. But because as tarot readers doing political tarot, the cards have got all these gnarly interpretations now, one of which, thanks to Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice, the false knight. So the false knight might be working really hard to keep this confusion going. So I haven't got a clear answer here. I have heard there's high early polling numbers, and that usually bodes well. So Ohio, when I just sort of think about it, I feel it will be okay. I feel it will be okay. I hope that's not just wishful thinking. I think you'll be all right, Ohio. Oh. Okay. Now, again, before we get to the Yeti and his absolute madness, LGBTQ advocates in Texas are now stepping up to block a law that's going to come into effect on September 1st. And basically, it's criminalizing a lot of drag queen behavior. So doing shows or doing things that they're trying to criminalize so much of drag, which is an entertainment medium. I mean, really, drag queens are the enemy, not the guy with the AR-15, drag queens, you know. Okay, so this law is attempting to say that all drag shows are sexual by definition. Can't have sex that's meant to be under the carpet. I mean, please. What about the strip clubs next to the bar that's next to the church, in between that and the ammo shop? What about or every titty bar from, you know, Milwaukee to Alabama? Drag queens. So the ACLU is taking on the suit. I want to have a look at this lawsuit to challenge Texas on this. Let's see. Oh, I got that card again. And I was raving on and shuffling, and it turned up again. I feel a bit more clear cut with this in the sense America constantly is being presented with crossroads. Are you going to go down this path towards the end of democracy in any recognizable way, or are you going to stand up and be part of, let's hope, a wave of Americans standing up for fundamental rights. That is the decision. Someone pointed out after the last video, X, like the rebranded Twitter. So we'll go back to the more conventional meaning. So there'll be momentum around this court case. There's the King of Wands here. I think the King of Wands in this case could be Governor Abbott or someone. I think it's the King of Wands in not so positive view, trying to stop this momentum. People are evaluating this and will be watching this case. Couple more cards. It's my day for clarifiers. I go for years on end without clarifiers, but it must be that the ethereal energy is very confusing up there at the moment with 6 planets retrograde or whatever it is. There's a lot of celestial stuff going on. So this court case trying to block the Texas law. Okay, I think it will do all right. Although there is still confusion and some people won't be clear on it. The Lovers in this context represents merging and pulling together the world, bigger thinking, bigger than Texas, as they say. Okay, so I think the higher level will prevail. I think this court case might work. Oh, please. Now, let's keep our fingers crossed on that. Now, as I'm sure you are all aware, the Yeti is going on Truth Social day and night, and any other microphone that anyone will shove in his feeding trough, abusing, criticising, threatening people, everyone from Fani Lewis, Jack Smith, witnesses, and the new judge, whose name is Tanya Chutkan, has given the team until 5 o'clock on Monday the 7th to show cause why he should not be sanctioned for this behaviour. Now, many of you I know watch Glenn Kirshner, as I do. Justice matters. Okay. And he described what usually happens in these cases, but nothing to do with the Yeti is usual. So even he couldn't really say what is likely to happen. He can say what usually happens. But the Teflon Don is not a usual case. Right. But you'd have to say this man is the worst legal client in the world, the worst defendant. So Glenn Kirshner was saying he was actually in the courtroom and the judge very patiently and clearly described. I love the fact she called him Mr. Trump and not President. She could have called him the Yeti and I'd be even happier. Anyway, do you understand that this means you cannot do this publicly and keep doing it and not expect a reaction? Do you understand it is illegal for you to threaten and intimidate people involved in your case? And the Yeti nodded. And I think he said the word yes, but he doesn't say it very often, so it's probably foreign to him. He intimated that he understood. Now, he is an adult. That should be enough. But it was less than 24 hours before he went ape on social media. So this is a real dilemma for the judiciary. What are they going to do with him? So let's have a look. Tanya Chutkan, I just want to have a look at this Monday, 5 o'clock. They have to submit whatever they're submitting. I don't think we'll necessarily hear anything straight after that. I don't know when she gives her verdict, whether that's part of that 5 o'clock meeting, or it's separate. They submit, she goes away and digests it or whatever. I don't know. If anyone knows, let me know. Okay, but what I want to look at here is, what is she likely to do with the Yeti? No one's done this before. Mob bosses don't do this. Zip the lip. You know, he's incapable. He's absolutely incapable of staying quiet. Why do I keep turning my cards around? Oh, no, it wasn't. That's a reversal. Oh, my God. Lena, get your act together. Oh, goodness me. Oh, now they're fully mixed. Okay, I'm going to roll with this and not read them as reversals. Something's happened in Cardland. I can't explain it. It could be the lion's mouth. Who knows? Okay, so reading them right way up. Okay, he is being bombarded. Right, he has how many cases? 73 charges or 78 charges or something across 3 indictments. You can't even keep track, and I'm sure he isn't keeping track. He's just constantly responding to the next wand coming through. But look, with the 8 of Wands, the point is they're all sort of coming in the same direction now. And that's what he hasn't experienced before in his life. He's always been able to slide out from under and go on to the next thing. Now these are relentless, these ones. The Fool can be a very sophisticated card, or not, as in this case. He's walking off the cliff. I think the dog woofing is like his legal team saying, no, look, if you do this, it's going to be really bad for you. I'm the Yeti. I can do this. If I step off the cliff, I will fly. I think his mental state is actually deteriorating. We know he has the brain of a goldfish, so it didn't have far to fall. We know he has the emotional IQ of a wolverine. No disrespect for wolverines, but he has no concept of anyone else. We know all this. But he's entering a new state of foolishness. He is convinced he'll walk away like he always has, right? Why wouldn't he think that? You know, he's got away with so much. But this is a page. I wish it was a bit more powerful. I wish it was a knight. I wish it was a queen. I wish it was a major arcana. I'm getting a page. So this to me says, well, we know messages. I think she's going to give him another verbal warning. How disappointing is that? Tanya, come on, bit more, please. But who am I to say? I think he will get yet another warning. Then what will happen? Because we know he won't comply and he can't comply. There is a bit of a theory. What do you think about this, viewers? Some people are saying he's doing this deliberately, so they're forced to either, you know, put him in jail or the ankle bracelet or something to G up his base. Let's have a look. Is he doing this deliberately, or is he simply in a narcissistic sort of hermetically sealed loop of his own thinking? Where is this deliberate? The Yeti. Is this deliberate? Is this deliberate? Is this deliberate? Ah, Now, you see, the thing with the Yeti is this. He can't stay with a strategy, right? Even a strategy that's good for him. He can't stay with it because he can't actually focus long enough to connect one experience with the other experience. He literally has, I think, genuine mental issues apart from those that come from just being too rich for too long and never working for 1 hour in the real world. We just became the head of our own company because daddy bought the company, right? How much of that delusion versus his actual mental state? Just saying. Just spoke about it. Fool's Gold. King of Wands. This is him in this. And the Eight of Pentacles, the Apprentice card. I think he just simply thinks, I am so famous and powerful, and in his own mind, he's rich in his own lunchtime. But I'm sure if you did the most basic math, he's in debt for, the best part of $1 billion. But he doesn't have to worry about that because the banks never worried. So why should he? Don't start me on the banks in the 90s. Okay, so this is him. And I think this is a little joke from the universe, the Apprentice card. His fame carries all before it. He does not believe they will do anything to him. So it's not so much deliberate, make them do it to me, and then my base will rise up. It's not so much that, it's they won't do anything to me. Ooh, irky perky. Now, my darlings, thank you so much for all your ongoing support. And don't forget, I've got my regular gig with Hogarth and Lady G on Saturday night EST, 7 p.m. every week. But also next Sunday, which is I think the 13th, I'm going to go on with Becca and Jen Lynn and Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice for the second hour of their Petty Boots show on a Sunday. So I'll be there for the second half. So I'd love to see you rock on by. Okay. And so ta-ta for now. And I'll see you on the other side of Judge Tanya's verdict. Okay. Bated breath. See you then. Ciao.